if you were watching that game, did not know any record at all, you would think Houston was the better team. They played more aggressive and more physical than us all game long. They were laying the wood. Regardless, some were penalties. I know the one on JuJu was a penalty. You just had more physical plays, and they were the aggressors bullying us the entire game, it seemed like. And that's what stood out to me. And I'm like, oh, are we that finesse, just that offensive team? We're kind of looking like that finesse soft team that people just want to out physical us. And it seemed Houston, obviously, they don't have the talent that we do, but they were just laying the wood on us all day. JD, kind of talk to us about what you saw out there from the aggression point of view, because Houston was bringing it to us today.
Well, first off, I want to go ahead and give a shout out for let's celebrate the 7, okay? Because that's a great accomplishment. I don't want to lose that. All right. And of course, of all the busts and everything that happened, I don't want to do that to them, because that's something that needs to be celebrated. So I'm gonna definitely say that. Take my hat off to them for that. Okay. Now, getting into this, without a doubt, when I looked at it, it was just low energy on defense, offense, and it was some hitting out there. It was absolutely so. When you talk about laying the wood, I seen it. The Texans absolutely come in blasting every chance they got. Every shot they was taking, like they were playing like a 1-11 team. Like they didn't care. They was like, no holds barred. We 1-11. We're gonna try everything. When they did the double reverse, try to pass, and all, let it all hang out. Why not? Right? We're not supposed to win this game anyway. So let's go in there and go bloody somebody's nose. That's to them. That's their mindset. Our mindset should have been, when you come in, is methodically going down the field, stopping them on defense. I mean, most of their guys are out. The number one receivers and stuff they out of there. The quarterback, they had 2 quarterbacks come in. What's the name? And lined up half the time on the outside of wide receiver. I'm sitting there thinking, like, he's just trying to occupy space, right? Because somebody's got to cover him. But it just it just looked like guys just wasn't focused up. And when you have that type of turnovers, you have like that's less sense of urgency. You could tell what it was. And so look, I understand this. And here's the reality of it, okay? Guys that compete for a living, even though you in the ring, you out there on the football field, 1-11 team to get up to play is tough. I'm not saying it's your job. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to win. But when somebody starts hitting you in the mouth, then something should transition in your head. Like, wait a minute, hold on. We need to understand that these guys are not playing around. We cannot lose to them. And so it just seemed like it was a mess. It was just a mess all the way around. The tempo of everything wasn't there. So it was a lot of that. I just seen it was a blase type of deal that everybody was just kind of going through. And so I could imagine what that locker room was going out there for the game. It was almost like everybody's like, hey, yeah, let's go kind of type of deal, right? You're trying to get everybody up to go out there and compete, but it's still low energy. It just, and you can see it. You can see it in the product they put out there today. So.
Yeah, the thing that I'm always a results guy. I know that being a former player, JD probably looks at everything from the play-by-play. I look at the results, and I see that there's a real problem when in a 2-week span. And there's some positives to talk about on the offensive side that we can talk about when it comes to Jerick McKinnon and what he's done over the last 2 weeks. But on the defensive side, it's very worrisome to me. And there might be explanations for it, but just from a results standpoint, it's very worrisome to me that the Chiefs give up 6 touchdowns to Russell Wilson and Davis Mills in a 2-week span. And the way the touchdowns come sometimes looked a little easy, because Davis Mills literally runs that into the end zone without a single guy touch him. There's no spy there. And like I said, I think, like JD just said, I think a lot of it comes down to energy, because I think, you know what, if I don't want to give the Chiefs an excuse here, because I don't think there are any. I think they have to wear this one, because even though they got the win, it does feel like, man, they kind of lost this one at the same time. It almost feels like the Chiefs have gotten bored, because kind of like what we allude to, no matter how many times they won the AFC West, it's still something you have to pay attention to and admire and acknowledge, because it's difficult to win in the NFL. JD, you know this. But it's almost like they're just like, okay, let's just get through these damn last 3-4 games. Let's get into the playoffs. Now we'll be ready. And I'm not saying that's right, but it does feel that way. It does look that way on both sides of the ball, especially, like I said, when they came out and those first two offensive drives, it looked like the Chiefs were just like, yeah, we're just going to score. It ain't gonna be no big deal, man. We'll just take care of business. They're missing half their roster. They're a 1-11 team. MVS, short throw. MVS had a touchdown waiting on that throw. I mean, there was a lackluster lack of motivation because we've seen this team on the opposite end. We saw when they went to San Francisco, that team was there to make a statement, and they went out there and did that and won by 3 touchdowns against a team that hasn't lost since. And then you look at it. Then you look at the Buccaneers game. Chiefs go out there and blow the doors off them as well. When this team is at their best, I tweeted this earlier. When the Chiefs are at their best, there is nobody in this league that can beat them. The problem is it's hard sometimes to get the Chiefs to play at their best because, like I said, I think that when you are this successful for this long, it almost becomes methodical. It becomes lethargic. It just becomes a routine. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying that just might be the reality of what we're looking at right now from this team.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the mindset of it, right? And I think human nature, part of why we strive as humans is we need challenges, right? We need that opposition to become better, okay? And so sometimes the failure in those things that you have is that's what you need. You just need that to really, get out there and see your best. And sometimes what you said, Lance, these next few games, you know what you're looking at. You look at teams that don't have great records, okay? All these teams you should beat, these next 4. But it's like, man, can we get ourselves up mentally prepared to go play these games and just get through it? And probably the worst thing could happen, all right, is you could get caught up in that, like you said, just the monotony of everything, where you do lose games, okay? Or guys get hurt because you're not focused on how you should be doing it. And so that's the same thing we talk about society. If nobody's being challenged and then you just get handed everything all the time without any type of, merit and others, then you just become complacent. And that's what it is. It's complacency right now. But other than that, I think, like you said, defensively, just kind of talk about it. We just didn't really see any pressure, any pass rush. Guys just weren't getting back there to him at all. And so Mills got in because everybody's looking around, trying to cover in zone. And then all of a sudden, we make a break because I think it was Kalafkas who came in. Well, Mills leaves the door wide open on the outside. There was nobody there because everybody's in coverage. And so that's part of the defense where you'll see like some of these things with the weaknesses that comes up. But if you don't have anybody coming back and get any type of pressure, any type of push, that is a problem. That's an issue. That is an issue. The only one I've seen today that was kind of getting back there that looked like he had half the sense to him was Dunlap. Dunlap he's a veteran guy. He's been doing it for a long time, and you expect veteran guys like that to be like, hey, man, shoot, somebody's got to go out here and make a play. Mm-hmm. And I guess he could sense that everybody else around him, whatever it might have been. And look, when I'm telling you, you look up and down that sideline, you could just feel it. There's an air at it, right? All of a sudden, you go down, you don't score on your first drives out. We ran it once for the first 10 plays, one run. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden we come out the third series and start running it. It's like, where was this at? Yeah. How are we not trying to run down their throats anyway by doing this? I mean, this for the life of me, when I'm sitting there watching this game, like you said, it's a head scratcher. You're just perplexed. But we know how these things kind of go. It's like one of those things that whatever bad can happen, probably will. Then Buckner comes out there, misses the extra point. You're just like, what? Well, daggone. I guess this is what we're going to do today, huh? Yeah. This is what the day is going to be. All day it's going to be like this. And it was. It was just like that. And so it was like that whole hum. We just got to get past this thing. Hey, guys, come on, let's go. I mean, I seen Pat, kind of yelling at Kelce, like, come on, come on, man, let's snap out of it. But you could see everybody was just kind of dragging their feet. They was just dragging around, except Jet, another veteran guy. Jet is Johnny on the spot, where you need him to be to make a play. He's going to be there for you. Mm-hmm. You don't have to worry about him. I said that, last week. I said, this is the guy that you can lean on and say, we need to give the ball to him. And, to make a play, to make a guy miss, he's going to do it. So he's in the end zone twice tonight. Because why? Because he understands what these things mean. He's going to play for a long time. And, Pacheco's got to learn that. He's got to learn that. I said, for him, the season would have been over if he was at Rutgers. We know this. This has been it for him. And so I think he was just kind of in that field for a guy that is a rookie that's got to learn how to play, experienced football.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.